Imagine standing beneath the towering columns of the Parthenon, sunlight pouring across the marble, while the giant statue of Athena, goddess of wisdom, watches silently over Athens. This was the proud city that called itself the birthplace of democracy, a land of philosophers, poets, and warriors. But hidden beneath the glory was a man who dared to ask questions no one else would. His name was Socrates. He wasn't interested in riches, power, or fame. What he wanted was far more dangerous: the truth. He challenged his fellow citizens, poked holes in their beliefs, and forced them to think. And for that, Athens condemned him. He asked the questions no one dared, and paid with his life. But how does a man grow into such a fearless voice? To find the answer, we must return to his childhood curiosity. Socrates was born into an ordinary Athenian family, but even in that simplicity, seeds of greatness were planted. His father, a humble stonemason, would often chip away at blocks of marble. "Inside every stone," he told his son, "there's a lion or a god waiting to be freed. The sculptor's job is to reveal what's hidden." To young Socrates, this was more than craft. It was a lesson. Truth, like the lion in the stone, was always there, waiting to be uncovered. His mother, a midwife, shaped him in another way. "I don't create life," she'd say. "I only help it come into the world." Socrates absorbed this deeply. Years later, his method of questioning, helping others give birth to their own ideas, would echo her wisdom. Even as craftsmen, even politicians, not to prove them wrong, but to uncover what they truly knew. Day after day, Socrates wandered the busy streets of Athens, stopping craftsmen, politicians, and eager young minds. His questions were simple, yet disarming. A shoemaker boasting of his craft, a politician proud of his wisdom. Within minutes, Socrates exposed contradictions in their claims. He wasn't humiliating them. He was showing how fragile certainty really was. To the youth, this was electrifying. Here was a man who made the powerful stumble with nothing but words. To the common people, he became both fascinating and frustrating. Even Athens theaters mocked him on stage, a barefoot philosopher who asked endless questions. Yet, ridicule could not dim his rising reputation. He called himself the midwife of ideas. Just as his mother helped deliver babies, Socrates helped deliver truth hidden inside others. Then came the oracle at Delphi. Socrates' friend Chaerephon asked, "Is anyone wiser than Socrates?" The oracle replied, "None." Shocked, Socrates insisted, "If I am wise, it is only because I know that I know nothing." But with admiration came resentment. His growing influence was planting dangerous seeds, and enemies were beginning to form. Among Socrates' students, none shined brighter, or burned more dangerously, than Alcibiades. Rich, handsome, and fiercely ambitious, he had the charisma to charm Athens and the audacity to betray it. Guided by Socrates in his youth, Alcibiades grew into a political star, but also a storm. When Athens launched the Grand Sicilian Expedition, Alcibiades was one of its leaders. But accused of sacrilege, he fled, first to Sparta, then later even to Persia. The expedition collapsed in disaster, costing Athens thousands of lives and ships. Many Athenians, humiliated and furious, turned their anger on Socrates. "See," they muttered, "it's his teachings that corrupted Alcibiades and led us here." The seeds of suspicion grew. In theater comedies, Socrates was painted as a corrupter of youth, a man who mocked the city's gods. Politicians echoed the charge, whispering that his influence was dangerous in a fragile democracy already at war. Admiration had turned into hostility, and soon, whispers became accusations, setting the stage for the trial that would seal his fate. The year is 399 BCE. In the heart of Athens, a crowd gathers for one of the most infamous trials in history. Socrates stands accused of two grave crimes: corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods of the city. His fate lies in the hands of a 500-member jury, their votes to be measured under the steady drip of a water clock. The prosecution paints him as a dangerous thinker, a man whose questions weaken tradition. But when Socrates speaks, he does not beg for pity. Instead, he challenges Athens itself. "If I am guilty of anything, it is of questioning too deeply." Then comes his shocking counterproposal. When asked what punishment he deserves, Socrates smiles and suggests not exile, not a fine, but free meals for life at the Prytaneum, the hall reserved for Athens' greatest heroes. The jury gasps. To them, it is arrogance. To Socrates, it is truth. By a narrow margin, the verdict is reached: guilty. And when offered the chance to escape with a lighter sentence, Socrates chooses principle over survival. His punishment is death. Yet, in the silence that follows, he does not tremble. His story now turns to his final days in prison. In the stillness of his cell, Socrates' closest friend, Crito, pleads with him to escape. The plan is ready, the guards bribed. Freedom is within reach. But Socrates shakes his head. To flee would betray the very principles he lived by. "Better to die justly," he says, "than to live unjustly." As his final hours approach, he remains calm, almost serene. Surrounded by his students and companions, Socrates speaks not of fear, but of truth. When the cup of hemlock is brought, he accepts it without hesitation. He drinks deeply, and as the poison creeps through his body, his legs grow heavy, his breath shallow. His last words puzzle many but echo through time. "Crito, we owe a rooster to Asclepius. Pay the debt." To him, death was not defeat. It was a cure, a release from ignorance, a healing of the soul. Though his body fell silent, his voice never died. Plato carried his memory, Aristotle expanded his vision, and generations still live by his questions. Truth was his altar, and he himself the sacrifice. Socrates chose truth over life itself. If his courage inspired you, hit the like button and share this story with someone who values wisdom.